I'm Nicole with Guiding Echoes, and this is a review of the art through the Starstream Oracle, and this is created by Cheryl Yambrach Rose and published by US Game Systems Incorporated. What's very interesting about this deck is that Cheryl not only did the drawings for this deck, or I shouldn't say drawings, they're actually paintings, but she also wrote the book, and that's kind of abnormal. Usually when you have a deck like this, you're going to have one person who does the writing and one person who does the drawing, but Cheryl actually did both, so that right there is kind of cool. So let me show you what comes with this deck. First of all, you have this beautiful box. It's a very, very sturdy box, and it has this pretty green interior right there. This is nice because this box is going to last quite a while. You're not going to have to replace it. You don't have to go out and buy a bag for your cards. This is going to protect your cards and the accompanying book just fine. It also comes with a 52 card deck and a 114-page booklet. Now this deck is the sister deck to the Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle, which was also created by Cheryl Yambrach Rose, and it's also published by US Game Systems Incorporated. So if you have that deck and you like that deck, this is kind of the counterpart to that one. You're going to want to get your hands on this one as well. So let's go ahead and start our review of the cards. You can see on the back of the cards we have this very beautiful painting, and yes, that is the back. That is featured on every single card. So gorgeous, gorgeous background, or I should say backing. And this card right here, she's also featured in the deck. This is Goddess of Nova. She's featured in the cards as well. And what I like about this background is that it's very helpful to have a background where you can tell if the card is in reverse. So for those of you who don't like to read tarot cards or oracle cards in reverse, you're going to know right away if your cards are reversed or right side up. That way you'll know how to flip them or how you want to adjust them. So that right there is pretty nice. We also have a beautiful golden edge on this deck. And what I like about this is that US Games Publishing somehow figured out the formula to printing beautiful golden decks without having them stick together. So as soon as I took this deck out of the box, I was able to separate the cards one by one right away. For those of you who have worked with decks that have the golden ridge, you know how hard it can be to separate the cards. I've had cards in the past where I tried to separate them and they got all these little nicks and scratches, and oh my gosh, it drove me crazy. So with this deck, you will not have that problem. They separate. I mean, you can see how easily these separate, and that's right out of the box. So US Game Systems, bravo on that. I don't know how you managed it, but you definitely set the gold standard. Da-da-da. Okay, anyhow, moving on. So the artwork on this deck is beautiful, and all of these pictures that you're going to see were originally painted on canvas with oil paints. Now in the book, the author, Cheryl, will tell us when these paintings were inspired. So it took her, I think the oldest one was in the 90s, so it was like over 20 years to create all of these beautiful paintings. And when she originally created them, I don't think she had the intent of making them an oracle deck. That's just kind of what happened. So one of the things that you'll notice once you get your hands on this deck is that the eyes have a lot of detail. So when you have one of the pictures where someone's looking up at you like this one, let me see if I can get this up a little bit closer. It's kind of adjusting there. I don't think that's going to work, so let me put her back down. But the eyes have a whole lot of detail. And if you gaze into the eyes of one of these messengers long enough, you're going to feel like this character is right there with you in the room. I shouldn't say character, that was a poor choice of words, but you'll feel the essence of that messenger right there. It's actually pretty cool. So that's one of the things that I like about this, is that there's so much detail that these paintings really come alive. And that's not by accident. In fact, in the book, Cheryl mentions that when she painted these portraits, she started with the eyes, and then everything else kind of forms on its own. So everything begins with the eyes. So these cards, as you can see, they're very warm, they're very inviting, and it reveals different protectors and messengers from our world and throughout the universe. And as you go through the deck, in fact, look at this card right here. You'll see that there's this window into the universe, and we have this little spaceship right here. So for those of you who are interested in ancient aliens and UFOs, there's some really interesting stories in the book, and you're going to find probably some familiar fables and myths in this deck as well as you go through the cards. And so what's interesting is that each messenger brings its own words of wisdom, and this deck is just highly intuitive and perfect for those moments when you need to reflect on your own life and seek guidance from source. So you'll see that at the bottom of each card we have the name of the painting. And so this one is Anchoring the Celtic Ray. And it says, be calm, anchor your energy. And if you want to know more about that card and why that is the message that was chosen for that card, then of course you're going to turn to the book. So let's go ahead and take a look at the book. So I'm just going to clear these out. And again, the book was also written by Cheryl, so that's, I think that's really cool, because like I said earlier, usually when you have someone who does the drawing, they don't do the book too, so it's actually kind of a cool, unique thing that she was able to do both. And as you read through this book, you're going to learn very quickly that Cheryl has done her homework. This little book is full of psychic, intuitive information on several different messengers, but there's also historical data in there as well. And when I say historical data, what I mean is documented evidence and eyewitness accounts of amazing transcendental things. So be sure that you go through this book when you get the deck, because there are some very fascinating stories in here. And again, it's backed by historical evidence, and you can do a Google search and maybe pick up some another book if you want to learn more about that particular topic. So as you go through this book, you will see that there's, of course, the table of contents, so that makes it easy for you to find the card you're looking for. And then we also have, let's see, the Alchemy of Art, how to use the Oracle cards. We have some Oracle spreads in here, and there's a couple more. And then, of course, here we go. We've got the details on each card. So these details are actually pretty cut and dry. They don't go into too much detail, but it's enough for you to be amazed and impressed, because I know I was. So this is one of the stories where there's historical data. This is from the High Priestess of the land of the Ariani. Let me find the actual card so I can put it beside. Yeah, here we go. So, can you see that? And it says, expanded meaning. Listen carefully for answers and directions from the inner earth and star beings. They may have an assignment for you or something to share. And you'll notice that the bottom of this card says, be open to communication from an unexpected place. So you might ask yourself, well, why is that her message? Why is that the message that is associated with this being for this card? Well, the story here will tell you. On February 19th, 1947, Admiral Byrd, with his radio man, flew to the North Pole. In his flight log, he relates the events of their visit to the inner earth. While flying over snow and ice, he was astonished to see rolling hills and rivers and a warm, verdant landscape where he reports seeing a mammoth. Soon, radiant disc-shaped crafts appear, taking control of his plane and flying it down into the interior. They landed near a shimmering city pulsating with rainbow hues. He observed the external temperature was 74 Fahrenheit, and there was a central sun. Tall blonde men approached, welcoming them, and informing Admiral Byrd that he was to have an audience with the master. He said, "You are in the domain of Ariani, the inner world of the earth." The master told him of their concern about the recent use of nuclear weapons and gave Admiral Byrd a message for the surface world. After delivering it to the Pentagon, he was ordered to keep silent. He did not want the information to die with him, so he left his diaries behind for posterity. So that's just a small sample of the wonderful stories you're going to get in this book, and there's a few like this. So be sure that you look into this book. It's a mixture of historical stories just like that one and intuitive stories. And so the difference, of course, being that the intuitive stories are channeled from, well, I think they come from Cheryl. I'm pretty sure most of the messages come from Cheryl. So these are messages that were channeled from beings who have already passed away. So for example, let me see who I have here. Well, you'll know as you go through the book and you go through the stories, like, I think there's someone in here having to do with King Arthur. We also have Magdalene. Obviously, that's not someone who can give her account, but through channeling and psychic intuition, you can get her account as well. And so that's in this book. So there's a lot of great information and so much going on with this deck. I don't feel like I can really do justice for this deck with a review. You really need to get it into your hands for yourself, so you can see what type of energy this deck has. It's a very strong energy. There's a lot of great information. I'm pretty sure that you're going to find it highly fascinating on so many levels. So not only is this deck beautiful, not only does it come with amazing information in this little booklet, but it offers wonderful guidance in your life. So whenever you find yourself in need of guidance, or you just want to connect with source or higher energy, you can begin to pull these cards and work with them so that you can see what type of messages the universe has for you. So if you're interested in purchasing this deck, I will have a link to an Amazon affiliate account down below in the description area, so you can check that out and make your purchase. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I do hope that you found this video helpful. I know it was pretty detailed, and I'm sorry if it was too long, but there's just so much going on with this deck. I wanted to make sure you guys got a full view. So if you found this video helpful, then do share it with your friends. Please remember to give it a thumb up. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel. I do offer reviews of different tarot decks and oracle decks, and in addition to that, I also offer weekly tarot or oracle card readings and monthly astrological tarot scopes. The astrological tarot scopes are videos in which I will focus on one astrological sign, say an Aries or Cancer or whatnot, and I will pull a few cards and I'll ask the universe what that sign, what that zodiac needs to know for that month. So those are pretty cool too. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you're interested in a personalized reading, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Namaste.